Good afternoon and congratulations to the class of 2014 of Bank Street College of Education. I join in celebrating your accomplishments, and I thank your family and friends, just as Tony and Virginia did, those who are here today who supported you over the course of your program of study. I also thank our faculty who have worked tirelessly to help you get ready for today. And lastly, I thank Tony, who's been my colleague and friend for 6 years at Bank Street. So commencement speakers are supposed to sound a serious note and to offer perspective and sometimes advice to the graduates. I will try to do that briefly without taking myself too seriously, but I have 3 points to make. First, teachers and leaders are inextricably connected to the health and the future of our democracy. That's a heavy burden to bear for teachers and leaders, and we are reminded in thinking about that of the importance of education, of good teachers, of good teaching in good schools, and of the necessity for education beyond the conventional classroom, to include museums, hospitals, and community organizations, among other things. All of this comes into conversation today with a world that's changing very dramatically. This week, for example, thinking at an international level for a moment, we've watched an election take place in India. A 6-week period of time in which 800 million people voted. That's by comparison with roughly 150 million Americans who might vote in a given election. And thinking at an international level, as we read about struggle and conflict and political upheaval and the desire of so many for a democracy, it doesn't take long to get from that thought to being reminded of the importance of education. So here we come to today, and we celebrate your accomplishments. I commend your enthusiasm for meeting the kinds of challenges you will meet, and don't let anyone kid you. Emerging and established democracies need you. They need educators and leaders as much as they need elections, electricity, and clean air. So that takes me to my next point. It's about politics. It has been a personal joy to observe Mayor de Blasio's passion for education, and especially early education. And it has also been important to see Governor Cuomo's commitment to pre-K taking shape. Both of these leaders considered politics, I assure you, as they have identified their agendas for education. You, our graduates of 2014, are in a very strong position to advocate for policies you believe will benefit your students, your communities, and those institutions you serve. Don't think for a moment that policymakers are not interested in your views. It's true they may not agree with you, but they are interested. Look at how the landscape of early education has changed in New York City, even in the last year. More than $400 million will now go into preparing and offering universal pre-K to thousands of young children and toddlers for whom the experience has not existed. Given the deep evidence that these early experiences greatly enhance a child's preparation for school and learning, can there be any doubt that this is good policy? I say this to you to encourage you to continue a Bank Street tradition, advocating for the policies related to education that you believe in, because believe me, it makes a difference. The last point I'd like to make is about passion and commitment, the qualities that brought our graduates, you, to the profession and to Bank Street. Teaching and leading are not for the faint of heart. The public and policymakers are understandably asking and wondering about the cost of higher education. It is expensive, no doubt about it. Bank Street is engaged in a multi-year study, as we speak, conducted by Stanford University of our graduates from the year 2000 to 2012, and the early results confirm, among other things, that our graduates persist in the profession. They may move on from being a classroom teacher or a child life professional in a hospital, but by and large, they and you are committed and well prepared. This is not just a job. I admire your dedication. How can you be certain, however, of finding meaningful work or making a difference or taking a point of view? Of course, life provides absolutely no guarantees, but I would argue, and I think you would agree with me, that the rewards, the intrinsic satisfaction of your profession in your daily work are significant and provide such meaning, especially on those more challenging days when you may be tired or discouraged. I think you can reach deep inside and say, wow, in the end, I'm making a real contribution. But as with all passionate commitments in the world of education, at the heart of it are your students, their families, the schools, and other organizations you may serve. And behind all that, of course, is your Bank Street preparation. John Seelig Brown, the social scientist and one of the leading early thinkers at Xerox PARC, in a book called The New Culture of Learning, is encouraging all of us to open our eyes to the rapid changes in our world and to be prepared to shift and to change. Technology, globalism, and an increasingly fast pace of life, which I find to be especially true in New York, provoke all of us to keep our eyes open. Progressive educators, you, our graduates today, know how to see an environment and respond to it. You've observed and you've recorded. There is no rote learning classroom created by a Bank Street student. But this doesn't mean that you leave rigor at the door. You put theory into practice, you understand standards, but you also understand and know your students and what will work with them and for them. We at Bank Street did not have to be told not to leave any child behind. We have long understood that the social and physical well-being of students, not just their intellectual needs, must be considered. In July, Bank Street will welcome a new president, Shail Palikow-Saransky. I am very hopeful that as alums, you will make a point of meeting Shail, also a graduate of Bank Street. And I urge you to remember our admiration for you and the work you will be undertaking. You show us new and timeless approaches, fresh and reconsidered ideas, things we didn't know could make such a difference. We are excited to watch your work and your progress with each and every day. It is that passion and optimism I so admire, and I commend you. Congratulations.